Hey, Shalom Akim. Before we begin this lesson, we want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashem,
Bahashem, Yahweh
Yahushai,
Shai,
Bahashem,
Bahashem,
Shachadash.
Shakadosh. And double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. A sincere Shalom to the hopeful elect. Hey, Shalom. So today I can want to go into how a lot of this rap music and, ghetto rap culture that goes into, killing and gangbang and adultery, so on and so forth, this is not our own culture. Okay, us so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, we're the true biblical Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. Okay, and this culture has been pushed on us by Esau Edom, the so-called white man, specifically the Amalekites, which we're gonna go into. The Amalekites being those small hats, they call themselves, JEWs. I'm gonna just say it like that. So we're gonna just jump right into it. I got an example here uh from NWA, okay, which is an old school hip hop. Back in this era, it was a lot of violent lyrics, and so this was 1992. This song I got is called NWA Straight Outta Compton. I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna just read the lyrics, starting with Ice Cube, um, verse one. It says Ice Cube, or it says straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube from the gang called Niggas with Attitudes. When I'm called off, I got a sawed off, squeeze the trigger, and bodies are hauled off. You too, boy. If you fuck with me, the police are gonna have to come and get me. Off your ass, that's how I'm going out. For the punk motherfuckers that's showing out. Niggas start to mumble, they wanna rumble, mix 'em and cook 'em in a pot like gumbo. Going off the motherfucker like that with a gat that's pointed at your ass. So give it up smooth. Ain't no telling when I'm down for a jack move. Here's a murder rap to keep y'all dancing with a crime record like Charles Manson. AK-47 is the tool. Don't make me act a motherfucking fool. Me, you know? And it's funny like how much like effort they put into these lyrics, man, because as fucked up as the lyrics is very catchy, you know?
Yeah, and just wanted to add, man, like with good music, like you were able to do an acapella, and it would be like, oh, I like that because you like it's no beat.
Hmm.
But like when you hear like this, like what you just rapped, or
Hmm.
brought forward, if it wasn't with a beat and somebody just listened to it like that, like what the fuck is going on?
Right.
That's what I was saying. Like, what the fuck is going on, bro? But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a very
it
influential. You go ahead. You got it right.
yeah, because the thing is, Esau, because what, like we were saying before the lesson, Esau, his tactic on how he's destroying Jake has evolved over time to where it's not a blatant physical destruction as he was doing within the time of chattel slavery. You know what he was doing with the Trail of Tears. He's not murdering Jake's, by the millions blatantly. But what he's doing now is destroying Jake mentally and spiritually. And this is a tactic amongst many, but this is a tactic that he uses with the music. And like the brother was saying, when you just read the lyrics and you just read it out, it's like, yo, this is terrible. You know what I'm saying? Not like this is just not substance. This is not something that you should be like, you know, professing. This ain't something that, you should be like getting into, of course. But Esau knows that Jake music is palatable, for lack of better words. He know that when you put Jake over a beat and when Jake come with a swag, that it's gonna sound good. If you
Hmm.
turn this song on, and we ain't gonna play it because we don't want to get copyrighted. But if you turn this song on, you know what I'm saying? Let it play enough, you're gonna start bobbing your head. And
Hmm.
that's what happens a lot with with Jake music to where the um the substance of it is terrible, but it sounds good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's part of where you get just part where you get culture vultures. Part of it because Jake music is so fly. Like even the heathens like it.
Yeah.
They don't know what the fuck they're listening to. I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds good. So that's where you get culture vultures from, you know. You know what I'm saying? Part of it. But you got to know, brother.
So yeah, it's just that it's something that we have to keep in mind of understanding what if there's a song on the radio, if there's a song that's mainstream, it's in the top 100, whatever the case may be, it's there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we're about to get into, you know, Jake talking about all this on this song, and this became very mainstream, but we're gonna get into who pushed it to that level.
Gone. Yeah, gone. So let's get into that. And that's, as you can see, just the part of that verse is already like, just imagine the rest of the song, man. But y'all brothers could get into them lyrics if you want. We're just gonna go to Wikipedia. I typed in NWA on Google, came up NWA. That's the group. And so we're gonna go into the labels, who controls what music gets published and what lyrics are allowed to come out. All right. So at the time it was Priority, during 1992, Priority Records. And then so now we go down to the founder, which is Brian Turner, and again, this was on 1992 when this song came out. He was the CEO. Um, Now, if you just take this article at face value here in Wikipedia, it says Brian Turner is a Canadian American entertainment executive and entrepreneur. And you read the rest of this, it sounds like, oh, he's just a Canadian American. But that's where Esau tries to hide the truth. I mean, just look at how suspicious this article is. There's no picture. This shit is like a quarter of a page. The guy that damn near invented gangster rap, nothing about him. So I went and digged on the internet and I found this article from September 8, 2015. It says straight out of West K, Winnipeggers' role in origins of gangster rap more prominent than movies suggest. And you go into this whole article, but we're gonna go to the very, very bottom, going into Brian Turner. And we're gonna read the last couple paragraphs here. Starting here, it says the death of Turner's mother earlier this year added to the nostalgia. Turner's parents lived in Vancouver, where their son sent copies of his gold and platinum albums during Priority's heyday. After she died, a nephew discovered a trove of those glass encased plaques in Turner's parents' basement, where they had been stored and forgotten following a renovation. The gold and platinum albums were sold in August at an NWA pop-up party in Vancouver, raising $30,000 for the YMCA. The best visual is my elderly Jewish parents surrounded in their den by these gangster rap plaques. He says, what are the odds? You see?
Yeah.
So he's a small hat. God, you go ahead, brother.
No, that's interesting. No, I was just reading along with you, man, because like to the average individual, when you look at that, if you see something like that, it's like, what the fuck you got to do with rap? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's a rap, but that's why it's just interesting, man. But it also is like it goes into what you're saying is how. Oh, I believe brothers was talking about how this stuff is really controlled by those people.
Mhm.
Like there's no exclusivity, if that's a word, with Jake coming out with this music, being able to put this music out there on such a platform without being
Mhm.
by these people. You
Mm. Yeah, it makes me think of you remember when one of y'all brothers were doing that lesson on well, I think we were all together on how the small hats are showing all these or Salakia, let me word it this way. Y'all were showing like videos of different news channels and how all the stories are saying the exact same thing. Like
Yeah.
it was the same news story, and that's what
Yeah.
it makes me think about this gangster rap from back in the day. And even now, they're all rapping about the same shit over and over and over again. It's
know,
never anything constructive because they on that program. Them small hats got us on a program or are people on a program to where they gotta rap about this because if you rap about something positive and constructive, you're not gonna go viral. You're gonna be at the bottom of the internet. You know, them videos where people are like, "Damn, you're so underrated. You're gonna
Mhm.
blow up one day," and they never blow up. Well, that's why, man. Because the
And
small has control everything.
I
Yep, and
gotta,
there's a reason why they're doing that because we have to understand that the Amalekites are have taken our identity as the children of the Most High, and when they put the lie up to the whole world that they are the true Jews and the land belongs to them and they're the children of the Most High, they have to hide the identity of who they're stealing that identity from. So, um, I'll grab this precept real fast. Um, in
and you got
Psalms
it.
chapter, Salaki, what you said?
You got it. So like,
So Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1, which says, "Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones." So there's, when you establish a lie so great as changing the entire nationality of a people and changing history, there's a lot of pieces that have to be put together in order to keep that lie going. And that's that crafty council where they have meetings behind closed doors. These elites, come together and say, how can we destroy this people? How can we keep them in the dark? And it's not working because this truth has come out. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has allowed this truth to spring up and that we can be brought back to the remembrance of who we are, but let me read on. It says, "They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." And the thing about that is that not only is the name of Israel no more in remembrance to us, but our ways are no more in remembrance to us. And they're replacing our nature, they're replacing our culture with a manufactured culture, black culture. They're
Mhm.
replacing it with Mexican culture. They're replacing it with native culture, all these different things. And that's a part of the destruction and the bringing down of our people to where now this is what being, we're black and this is what being black is shooting, what I'm saying, beefing, being gangster. This is how the nations, like nations that have no idea, that's never really interacted with Jake. This is their image of us based off of how Esau has propped us up.
and what was the? I was trying to remember how the precept was worded, man. No, to back you up on that point is when the nations knew that our power was on our side when we were praying to the Lord, when we that they wouldn't mess with us because they knew that he
Yeah.
was, pretty much we had that power through Yahweh Shem El Shai if we were obeying. But
Oh,
what
Yeah.
Con, I got you up.
okay,
So,
come on.
um, Con, this is Judith, chapter 5, and let's see. Yeah, verse 20. Is it cool if I start at 18? There's a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother. Get into it.
Con. Start at verse 18. It says, "But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs, and the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies."
And
But now, so like,
ultimately, we knew that when we weren't protected, that means we were in bad case morally with Yahweh Shem El Shai, meaning that we were either worshiping idols, we weren't following his words. So therefore, that protection, that hedge wasn't there. All right, just to make that quick point. G, you go ahead out.
it says, "But when they departed from the way," so like I think we just read that. Verse 19, "But now are they returned to their power and are come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem where their sanctuary is and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up and we shall overcome them."
Yeah, knowing that they knew that if we were sinning, then we were vulnerable. We were open. We was up for the taking, you know? And if that's like if the nations didn't know anything else about us, they knew that much because the name of Yahweh Shem Shai um, was rampant amongst the nations, and they knew that power was what people that power was connected to, being the Israelites.
Mhm.
So we those people they're going off. Oh shit, we can do what we want, you know. But you go ahead, brother.
Come, verse 21 continues, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them and their power before them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
Yeah, and that's it, and that's the point. You know, the reason why I want to bring that out, just laying back and off of the brother Yajazak, is when Jake starts getting into this music, like to the point where it's like where the influence is so demonic and it's so off kilter with what the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai have lined up for us, being adultery, being murder, being doing whatever it is that's against the Lord. And this is like the music that's popping, Jake listening to it and actually starting to play it out. What does that mean? The hedge is gone. The hedge is not there. Therefore, we're up for the taking, to this very day. So nothing has changed because Esau, Edom, and these heathen nations, they truly know who we are, man.
Mhm.
And when we're not obeying the Lord, they know that it's over with for us. So this is why that influence is so heavy.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's all I want to that. The water for that, brother. I did have a precept also. The brothers don't mind. This is
Come.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. It says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee, cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths." And I also want to read the NLT. It says, "Childish leaders oppress my people, and women rule over them. O my people, your leaders mislead you. They send you down the wrong road." So which that's it's more than just music. All right, it's in how Jake deals morally. Just how they deal amongst each other. The family. So the family structure, how it's supposed to be, is not. The family structure is torn down. Right? The women are literally heads of the household nowadays, right? But when you boil it down to different facets of what's leading our people, music is a part of that too. Okay, and how's Jake being led by being influenced to commit crimes, to do these things that are not um, right in the eyes of the heavenly Father, therefore removing the hedge, therefore leading us down a wrong path, a path of destruction,
Mhm.
right? So I just wanted to bring that out for that purpose. But you brothers got it.
Yeah, because well, was there more you wanted to get on this NWA cover shop?
That's pretty much it. I just had a couple pictures, proving the point.
Look at this nigga.
And that's him with Easy E, and I think that's his parents. But yeah, that's
Uh,
pretty much it.
Uh, hey, and speaking of, just real quick, brothers don't mind, because I was kind of touching on Easy E. Hold on.
what
Okay. I guess while the brother's out, I could bring that real quick. That thing I searched up, on Google, AI overview. I asked it, can a label control which topics are rapped about in songs? It says, yes, a record label can control what a rapper raps about by using contractual power, financial leverage, and their control over music distribution. Just kind of proving that point further that, you can't rap about what you want, no matter how good of a rapper you are.
yeah,
And that's why you got a lot of those what they call one-hit wonders, where they'll rap, for a limited time and then they go off track and they're like, nope, you're canceled pretty much.
yeah, yeah. That's proven that all these subject matters I'm sure when these rappers are signing these contracts, they are telling them like this is the direction we want you to go in. And sometimes they don't even have to do that. They'll just take a nigga and give them a platform. They'll take a sexy red and give her a platform and just be like, you know what? Just be yourself. We just gonna put a bunch of cameras on you We just
Gone.
gonna make sure everybody hear you. Just do you. Cause the thing is, it's not like you got niggas amongst Israel and the music just amplifies it. But you got niggas that's just gonna be niggas. And Esau is giving a nigga a platform to amplify
Mm.
more nigga shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Salaki, real quick, because I know you want the, yeah, I know you want to, get down. I just want to, while we are still like in the NWA realm, because we were talking, Easy E, like you brought up Easy E at the end, which Easy E, he was affiliated with Priority Records and NWA, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and things of that nature, but he was also under someone else, his own separate Jewish master, if you want to say it like that. Which this guy name was Jerry Heller, which was born into a Jewish family, and pretty much it's all connected. You know what I'm saying? I really want to bring out the lyrics, but it's nothing different from what the brother already brought out. So it may not be necessary, but he was they were pushing the same thing. Murder, being a thug, robbing niggas, being dope dealers, and
Mhm.
that was a major group. You know what I'm saying? Easy E was just individually under a different platform, but very much connected to what the brother was already into. So um and even the movie, like I mentioned to the brothers, and then I'll pass to you, brother, because I don't want to harp on it too long. Is even the movie was very telling. Of course, everything probably wasn't as candid as the true history of it, but he wasn't allowed to push out certain music. He had to push that gangster shit. This is what his manager told him pretty much. You got to push that gangster shit. We don't People don't want to hear that soft beach boy type music. They don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? No matter how good it is, they want to hear some gangster shit. Bring some gangster shit to our label, so you can
Yeah,
blow our
and,
label.
and what's interesting about that time is that up to this point, gangster rap really wasn't the big thing. NWA would really popularize gangster rap because prior to this, rap was more um I'm trying to think of a good word. Rap was more family friendly. I don't know if that's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
It had more substance though, leading up to that point. It had more substance. Jake was just expressing himself. And you know, Esau gave NWA the platform to make gangster rap cool and make other rappers talk about that more, and this is where you get now Biggie comes after that, Tupac comes after that, and and everybody in between and outside of that, um to where now after that gangster rap became big, and this is all Jake was hearing at the time. And what that does is it makes that behavior not only acceptable but applauded. That's what the popular people is doing. That's what the famous people is doing. That's the example that's being set. So now Jake is following after it even more so than they already was, you know,
yeah.
because yeah,
It's
it got now kids listen to it, teens listen to it, and that's the cool thing. All right, now I'm about to do the same thing.
yeah, yeah. It became a thing of normalcy. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is what we're used to. This is it. This is like this ain't no. That's why. When you hear this new shit, I don't know what this new shit is, by the way, but like the music was so influential that even individuals in like my age group, we don't like listen to newer shit because they're so captivated by how music first started, how they know it, at least not how it first started, but how they know it in their generation, which is some music is good, like you mentioned, influential, family oriented, motivational, not it ain't toxic, you know what I'm saying? But then it kind of mixed in to where it's like gangster shit, dumb shit, and it, like we this new shit that's going on is really just it's y'all desire don't cuss me out. It's full blown demonic. On demonic, bro. And this is not. I'm biased, so I say certain aspects of rock, but even with rap's not rap. It's just mumble music, dance music, and music that keep.
Mhm.
I don't know what the. I don't know. I don't fucking know what it is, bro.
All right,
Mm.
let me talk about it because I know what it is. I'm a young bull.
No,
Now I'm just
just to make a point, I'll get off of it. Is that this music this music is the daughters of music have been brought low. It's just terrible music. It's terrible. Everything is terrible. You know what I'm saying? It started somewhere, but it just progressively got worse. It progressively got worse to where now they're very much more blatant with committing adultery. Very much more blatant with people are putting in their songs about murdering people and then get mad with somebody. The snitch culture. You have the snitch culture within music, right? Which is is that not influential amongst Jake? Oh, snitches get stitches. That's where that shit came from music, bro. You know, when there's nothing wrong with being hear me out. There's nothing wrong with witnessing something. Sometimes shit just ain't your business, but snitches get stitches. You deserve what you get. But at the same time, that became a culture amongst Jake. Snitches get stitches, and oh, you a rat. I ain't talking to a rat, but some people are just want to see better for the community. And
that's bro. That's
I'm not rectifying these individuals because I'm not into that world. But there is a sense to that. But Jake made it such a negative thing via through music that if you tell on something that you see that can be very detrimental to a community,
Uh,
you out of there. Pretty much, they'll kill you behind that because this is what music pushed.
yeah.
Bro,
That's
you got it, brother.
yeah, that's snitch culture. That's really not biblical at the end of the day. If you you're supposed to be a righteous witness, you know what I'm saying? And if you witness something wicked, you're supposed to bring that out. You're supposed to speak out about it and not just keep it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you know somebody's doing something evil, you're not supposed to let that persist. And that's not scriptural to just keep your mouth shut about wickedness and just let it pass by. Scripture say you're not supposed to follow a multitude to do evil. And if you allow people to do that and you don't say anything about it, you're complicit in it. You know, the brother was talking about how, what I'm saying, music has like this new age rap, you still have the murder talk, the gun talk and all these things. But it has in a sense devolved, I was gonna say evolved, but it's devolved to where now it's more so focused on the drugs. It's more so focused on the party aspect of it, the adulterous aspect of it, because a lot of people not on the same type of time that Jake was on back then. When it comes to the music, when it comes to people consuming the music, a lot of people are squares for lack of better words. So there's different angles used to still spiritually get at Jake. And I wanted to get this precept because it's it's going into, and by the way, we got to get finish that Psalms 83 at some point, what I'm saying, because there's a few more verses, but I want to touch on this precept real fast, which says in verse Galatians chapter 5, verse 19, which says, "Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these." Now the scriptures tell us that we're supposed to walk after the spirit and not after the flesh. And in this truth, that's what we're doing. We're trying to walk after the spirit. We're trying to put off this worldly nature. And this music does nothing but push that worldly nature and keep you in that vibration. But as it says, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like. And I wanted to bring this out because out of all the things that mentioned is bigger than just murdering and Jake, what I'm saying, being against Jake. It's also talking about uh lust. It's also talking about reveling, that party spirit, always wanting to have fun, always want to party, always want to go out. It's talking about witchcraft, they're going into the drugs and all that, impairing yourself. Um, Idolatry, like the brother said, this music is demonic nowadays to where you got mainstream rappers. There's a whole sect of rap where you got niggas wearing upside down cross chains and things like that. Like this is this is where we're at. with rap culture to where there's so many different avenues and aspects of wickedness being pushed, and it's whatever. There's something for everybody, for lack of better words. When you get into that word revelings there in verse 21, it's the Greek word komos, Strong's G 2970, which says a revel carousal. It says a nocturnal and riotous procession of half drunken and frolicsome fellows who after supper parade through the streets with torches and music in honor of Bacchus or some other deity, and sing and play before houses of male and female friends. Hence, use generally of feast and drinking parties that are protracted till late at night and indulge in revelry. And what does that sound like? That sounds like the weekend. That sounds like going out to the club. That sounds like drinking. You know what I'm saying? Being out late. Being impaired. Yeah, and this is the spirit that Jake is into, where they do this week after week, and there's no progression in it. There's no productiveness in it, and you know what it has its roots in is that god Bacchus, which is where, during the time of the Greeks, during the time of the Romans, that's who they when they was in that same spirit that we see today of, how people be out on the weekend partying, clubbing and all that, they was doing it in the name of the deity Bacchus. Now, is it wicked to go out and have fun? No, it's not wicked, but there's a balance to it, to where you shouldn't be doing it every week, or you shouldn't be in the spirit. Oh, it's Saturday night, so now I'm about to go out for the sake of it because it's Saturday night. That's when you getting into this reveling spirit. And you notice that at all these clubs, all these, in all these environments, what's being played is this rap music. This is the anthem, so to speak, of this spirit, of that riotous spirit, of that reveling, that reveling spirit, you know. Um, but my point is, so like you had some Kawashab, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna grab a quick preset for what you said there. Proverbs 4:23, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life.
Yeah, and what's your heart? Your mind. So it's saying keep your mind with all diligence. Make sure that you're paying attention what your mind is on, because this music can sway your mind. This music can have your mind on things that it don't need to be on. And you can get into it as well. What you want
God.
to get out of it?
Yeah, just because, whenever you're listening to these lyrics, at first you're listening to it because it's catchy, because it sounds good. You eventually start to own those lyrics, and it becomes a part of your subconscious mind. Next thing you know, you're thinking about doing the same shit that's on the lyrics, you
Hmm.
know? And it just makes you slowly become more degenerate. And as the brother said, the ways of these lyrics is the opposite of the ways of Yahweh Shai, Shai, the ways that we're supposed to be coming back to. These small hats, they got us going a whole other direction.
Yeah, and so yeah, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Baba Kashad, could you stop sharing your screen so I can share mine?
Come
Let me see here. I think it'll pop up after you turn yours off.
on. Let's see how it.
Yeah, because this music can have you focused on, it really it just gets you in a worldly mindset. And the scriptures say we're not supposed to be conformed after this world. We're supposed to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And this music can have you um oh, okay, I got you, bro. I can turn it off myself. This music have you all focused on money. This music have you all focused on, oh, I want to get a, jewelry. I want to get a nicer car. I want to get this. I want to get that. When you don't need it. It's of the flesh at the end of the day. You had something you call?
Yeah, no, I was just had me thinking back about the precept in Isaiah. Just calling our people to err. Mine is not on the Lord no more. It's really like you said, in the world. It's in the world. It's focused on things that are really fickle. It's focused on things that are carnal as opposed to things that are spiritual. But you got it. That's all I want to say.
Y'all see my screen?
It says you started sharing.
It's black. I don't,
Oh,
okay.
now
See,
now it's on. Yep.
So I wanted to get into, because we talking about I wanted to get into the female aspect of this rap industry as well, because you got the whole aspect with the women and them being targeted as well. And I got into Cardi B. She was the main example I could think of a big female rapper right now. Um, and we all know who Cardi B is. What's one of the biggest songs that came out from her, Megan Thee Stallion, WAP, right? And when you go into the lyrics of that song, we don't gotta look the lyrics up. I'm not even about to read the lyrics. Uh, y'all know what song I'm talking about. But something that stood out in that song, outside of all the debauchery, outside of all the raunchiness of it, is where she said, "I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me show you how I got this ring." And it's showing you that again, like we've established, Esau got all these rappers talking about the things that they talking about and allowing them to push that onto our people. So when you have women talking about I don't need a man, when you have women talking about he need to put money in my hand, when you got women talking about I don't cook, I don't clean, it's all these things that
Mhm.
is outside of the nature of how women are supposed to carry themselves and just going into, using your body, going into land with whoever you want to. And it's wickedness at the end of the day. Now, I got the Wikipedia pulled up because just like we did with Eazy-E, just like we did with NWA, let's go into who her handlers are and show. Cardi B's label is Atlantic Records. Now, Atlantic Records was founded by Ahmet Erdogan and Herb Abramson. Now, Ahmet Erdogan, this is just a quick thing right here. It doesn't say anything about him being an Amalekite. It says he was Turkish. But when you go into Herb, what did it say? Abramson was born in 1916 to a Jewish family. Now, that's just the person who started it. Let's go into who's over it today. Um, Let me see here. Where is it? Well, let's say who own it, because let's go to the parent company of Warner Music Group. So Warner owns Atlantic, and let's look at who's at the top. The key people. Michael Linton is the chairman, right? Early life. Linton was born to a Jewish family. When we go back, it says Len Blotvinnik, vice chairman. It says he was born in Odessa, 1957, then in the Ukrainian SSR and part of the Soviet Union to a Jewish family. You get an idea. Amalekites own all these people. Robert Kinkle. Now it doesn't say it in his Wikipedia, but let's type it up here. Is Robert Kinkle Jewish? Let's see. It's not coming up how it come up on my phone. But you could type it in. Just search it up on your own. Is Robert Kinkle Jewish gonna say yes? Hey, right here it says he is on the board of directors for Tel Aviv University. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
but when you look it up, he is though. He's an Amalekite as well. And that's the point. Um,
Can't you it's like his life and early life and stuff like that.
it's
Is it
not gonna come up
gonna
in his early life on Wiki. It doesn't show it. It just says it doesn't go into it.
okay.
But but my point is, Cardi B, for example, and a lot of rappers is under Atlantic. There's three main companies that own all these music industries, which is Warner, Sony, and there's another one. Do y'all brothers know the third one? Can y'all look up the big three
Uh,
of the music industry? Big three music,
the
Universal.
Universal. Hmm.
Yep,
Universal, yeah.
Universal, Sony, and Warner Music Group. And for the most part, it's all Amalekites. Now, Sony goes back uh to Ammonites for the most part, and that showed. And what we can go back to the Psalms 83,
Gone.
because in Psalms 83, when we was reading before, and it's talking about how these heathen wanted to bring the name of Israel out of remembrance. But when you read on in verse 5, it says, "For they have consulted together with one consent, they're confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines and the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah." So it's showing you that is all these heathen nations. It's not just Esau. It's not just the Amalekites. These heathen is against us as well because you have the elites of these heathen where they know the truth, but they not helping. You
Right,
know,
right.
like this ain't just a thing. This is why the heathen are going to go into captivity as well. They have a price to pay as well. It wasn't just Esau that had something to do with us going into captivity. Heathen wasn't. You had the Hamites that sold us to the Edomites. You had the Ishmaelites, which made the boats. You know what I'm saying, that shipped us over here. Even all the way to this day, like the scriptures say, you have the parable with Lazarus and the rich man, where Lazarus is talking about the Israelites, the rich man is talking about Esau. How Lazarus is getting crumbs from Esau's table. And some of those crumbs is what? These jobs that we work. Yeah, we may be getting money. Or even the popular rappers that we talk about, they may be millionaires, but that's crumbs compared to what these elites of Esau got. But what does it say? It says that the dogs licked Lazarus' wounds. Who's those dogs? It's the heathen. And it's going into how the heathen eat off of Jake as well. That's why you got the heathen that moves into Jake neighborhoods and sets up these shops. The Moabites with the hair salons. You got, heathen that be setting up, these liquor stores. Heathen that sets up these weed shops. Heathen that basically sets up, these corner stores, gas stations, and giving Jake poison. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah,
and it's like you asked him, bro.
yeah. Just think about it. It really goes back to the curses. I want to bring a piece about um to help your point. Um, and it goes right back to the curses. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 43. It says, "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail."
Mhm.
So just going off what you were saying, how these heathen nations, though they are not the sole proprietor of uh no, pretty much they're not the highest amongst the heathens. They play a role because when they come from whatever land they come from, they come right over here to the Americas, like you mentioned, setting up stores. The Arabs setting they in every corner store in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Jake is going there, kind of sitting outside of the store, buying alcohol and just messed up in front of these stores. But you got to deal with these fucking heathens, right? Fucking Chinese restaurants all over the damn place.
Mhm.
And they looking at you like, is that it, nigga? What else you want? Like pretty much like they're above you
Right.
because ultimately we've been put in a lower state. So these heathen nations have no regard for the nation of Israel, and that's part of the curses, man. But that's it, brother.
Yeah, yeah. So with the men, with the women, is just the Israelites as a whole are being targeted and being fed this degenerate music so that we can be in a degenerate mind and be focused on the flesh, focused on worldly things. Um, and even like rappers that got more substance, even Kendrick Lamar's, they not good. Because they not driving our people toward Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Kendrick will come on the track and talk about he's the Alpha and Omega. But blaspheming against the Lord.
Right.
So it's none of these rappers are good. You know, and you know, yeah, that's all I had. If you had anything, I was shot.
Nah.
Any other precepts? Any?
Um, I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything I'm gonna go into.
Same on my end.
Con.
Con.
So with that, we want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto
Unto
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashem,
Bashem,
Yahweh
Yahweh
Shai,
Shai, Bashem,
Bahashem,
Bakadash.
Yahweh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth, and shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom wa, Baba Ball.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Oh.